You are now listening to Oversaturated, the podcast hosted by Johnnie and Ralph. Now let's get it.
We bike.
I'm just saying, man. You know, the coach is the fanny pack. I got the fanny pack coach.
Hey, man, if you like it, I love it.
Hey, man, I was just saying, man. I know it's funny because like Europeans dictate what fashion is,
which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because we had a conversation. Because remember, I talked to you about me seeing like the explosion of big ass shoes, like boots and shit. But I didn't realize that was a European thing.
Everything comes from Europe, right? It's just what we choose to adapt over here, right? The whole man bad thing,
It's been over.
Everybody got one.
That's crazy.
Everybody got a. And I'm not saying I've evolved to that, but I can rock the fanny. You know, I can rock the.
I know. I seen that picture you posted. Was it your birthday?
Yeah, that was on my birthday.
I was like, damn.
My wife got me that for my birthday. I was like, cool. You know what I'm saying? I low key, I kind of started looking. I'm like.
Same bad, huh? You start looking at other ones?
Yeah, I was like...
You try to color coordinate?
You know,
look.
I ain't gonna lie. But
matching bag and shoes?
Now I'm gonna say...
Oh, God damn.
I'm just say this. I mean, you my man, you know what I'm saying? But if I get the full joint, like the full...
Oh, listen to me.
Like
no.
Hop in the comments and speak your piece.
No, I'm gonna call you. Fuck, no, because we not doing that. You're not getting no bag that dangle off your shoulder. We not, bro. We not doing that.
I'm not
we
doing
not
that.
doing that.
I'm never that comfortable. Like
even if you do cross, we not doing that.
I do the fanny though.
I seen today actually. Today, I went to get something to eat on my way home from tennis, and I saw somebody get out of their car at the restaurant. He had the cross shoulder joint, the one that hang, but he had the hoodie over it, so the bag just hung below the hoodie. Does that make sense? How I'm explaining?
No, I understand.
Okay,
like it's like the bag was hanging out his hoodie.
Yes, that's what we've evolved to.
I can't defend them. I can't defend them.
Come on, man. Listen, if I see that, we gotta have a conversation.
Hey man, the kids wilding though. The kids all got bags. That's crazy.
I don't understand. It's so interesting to see the explosion of that, right? Because 10, 15 years ago, you would have got flamed out your pants for wearing something like that. But now it's universal. It started with the crossbody fanny pack, right? But now it's evolved to.
Well, you gotta think about it. When we was in high school, we had to remember the one strap book bag.
Yes. Oh, I do remember those. I remember those.
It evolved.
But
I know it evolved
from the back to the front.
Yeah, it did. Hey man,
damn, it did 180, huh?
Because think about it like this, like. We can blame Kanye. Remember, like Kanye became the explosion of the luxury backpack, the Louis Vuitton backpack. I got that.
But even that had two straps and it was on the back though.
But it's evolved.
Oh,
think about these things. They never start this way. They evolve from it.
It's true. But man, I don't know.
The fashion forwardness, especially being in hip hop, came from Kanye West.
Well, I'm never here to deny that. But that's just, I don't know. For me personally, that's just one thing. I don't know, man.
I just
don't know.
I got you.
But yeah,
as for me, I'm gonna try.
If that mug,
I ain't saying I'm getting the full. I ain't getting the full joint, but you know.
Listen, if that mug start dangling, my boy. Me, I don't care if I see that mug at 11 p.m. at night while I'm scrolling in bed. Ring, bro.
You know I answer the call.
Listen, bro. You good? You all right? I seen your purse.
No.
We good? We good? I will 100% do that.
Hey,
so yeah. Anyway, we get into it.
Man, let's go.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Oversaturated, the podcast where we discuss music, movies, pop culture, and everything in between. I'm Johnnie.
And I'm Ralph.
Welcome to episode number 162.
162. I'm still Ralph Targaryen this week.
Talk about it. New listeners, please follow us on all social media, Facebook, Just search Oversaturated the podcast. Twitter is Oversat Podcast. Instagram is Oversat the Podcast. And our email is oversatpodcast@gmail.com. And please be sure to check out our website, oversatthepod.com. Anything you need to know about OS is there. Also, we are officially on TikTok, Oversaturated the Podcast. Please follow us on TikTok. Get our views up. We'll see y'all there.
Yes, sir. And if you want to follow us individually, I'm the Mind of Ralph on Instagram and Twitter.
On Instagram, I'm JBS_ESL_AAMU. On Twitter, I'm JON 2_B. I flip-flopped that. Too much recording today, man. But anyway, we here.
Hey, we're here, man. But no, shout out to y'all, man. We're here to give you evergreen content. We're gonna be kind of MIA for the next 2 weeks. Just a lot of dates on the calendar.
It's a lot going on, man.
Yeah, we couldn't make it. So we're definitely giving you something. We're gonna have 1 week off for sure.
Yeah,
but definitely something in the tuck. Hopefully, you guys enjoy just a few little tidbits, little things that we've been kind of cooking up.
Yeah, man. Shit, we getting straight off.
Yeah, might as well.
I
already know how you're doing today. I already know how you're doing.
Right, we talked about it. Well,
right. This is a continuation of episode 160.
Right, look.
But no, off the dome. I got you.
Okay.
Music question, hypothetical.
Okay.
Did you know that Kanye was born in Atlanta?
Kanye was born in Atlanta?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Did you know Ludacris was born in Chicago?
That I did know.
Okay. Imagine if those flip-flopped.
Oh, dang.
Like if they actually stayed where they were born. So maybe not flip-flop. Because they flip-flop technically.
Got you.
So imagine
so if Kanye stayed in Atlanta
and Ludacris stayed in
Chicago.
Do you think they would be who they are right now? Everything. The same amount of success.
Kanye, yes. Ludacris, I don't know. That's such a good question. So, well, I mean, that's my answer, but damn, that's crazy.
I'll give you this, right? I think Kanye's role would have been a lot harder. Kanye being the type of artist that he is and being in Atlanta at that time, being in the crunk era and things like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how we would have received it, let alone his city. You know, 3 Stacks was 3 Stacks. So it's kind of like that's an anomaly. We're going to put that over there, right? But for the rest of them, like, how do you think he would have fit maybe if he had collab with, like, the Goody Mob Collective, like a Dungeon Family, maybe that would have worked. But just the sound of Atlanta in 03, 04, 05.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah.
With him growing up in Atlanta, his sound would be different. Like that. Now, with that,
yeah,
I think because of the musical genes that Kanye is, no matter where he grew up, especially in Atlanta, with Atlanta being such a hip hop city, I think he would have been able to navigate it almost identical as the way he did in Chicago. Like he probably would not have needed to sign with Rockefeller. Maybe he would have had an easier path to get on. Who knows? Because Atlanta is just like that.
Just that popping.
So I don't know.
And then he like it was hard for him to do what he did back then, even just going to New York and, however he got on, like you've seen it in the Genius doc. Right. So just seeing that, it's just like, I
don't think he would have had to go through that to get on if he was, he stayed in Atlanta.
Now, Ludacris in Chicago, flip the story, right? I think he would have been okay. I'm not saying he would have been as big a star. That's debatable, right? Because Luda, when he first came out, he was a great rapper, and he was, the star power was there, but I think what Luda worked with him was his features, right?
Okay.
Like the feature game was boom, 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 right? And it was a lot of Dirty South staples that he was on. That's where I think it may have, Kanye was the producer. So I think, like you said, the producer musical side of Kanye probably would have got him there. The raps, I'm not too sure on, but.
Interesting. I like that question, and I like that point about Ludacris. So when Ludacris did the verse on the Major Look, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he would have gotten that type of opportunity and look sooner than he did?
Absolutely, because the thing that got Ludacris on in Atlanta, he was a DJ.
Right.
So if you're a DJ in Chicago, I imagine the levels is just there too. Like you're on a bigger, broader platform, being on a hip hop station in a big market.
Yeah.
Compared to what Atlanta radio market is, right?
Right.
So you doing that and you rap, I think He'd have been cool. Like now that I think about it, he'd been all right. Like,
That's crazy.
because the sound, Ludacris is like rap style. I think it's just so universal, right?
Okay.
The punchlines, the flow, like you know what I'm saying, like even content for that matter, right? If he's just an everyday guy and he raps about everyday stuff, because Ludacris does rap about everyday stuff.
does.
He don't rap,
It's true.
like guns a blazing. He do sometimes, but it ain't. That's not his content all the time.
He's one of those versatile MCs in hip hop.
Exactly.
He can do West Coast, South, Midwest, East Coast.
So being around Twista, Common, like the same way, the same tutelage that Kanye was getting. No ID. Like imagine, Ludacris no ID features, man. No ID tracks, man.
Damn. No, that was a good question. Damn, my shit trash. I just came up with this
Let's go.
thing in between.
Let's go.
So there are some actors and actresses that played iconic characters for their career, or they had a staple character for their career, like Jaleel White and Steve Urkel, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, who is your favorite actor who played a character that you will like? That person is that character forever. What actor is that character forever to you?
Wow.
It could be TV, movie, it could be whatever.
I know, man. I can go so many ways with this thing, man. I can start at the top and say Denzel is Malcolm X, and they should never make another biopic. Even though the guy that was in Selma and in Godfather of Harlem that plays, he's the same guy. Matter of fact, Nigel Hatch or Thatch, one of those names. But he's from St. Louis. So, matter of fact, he's from East St. Louis. Matter of fact, put some respect on that. My bad.
Right.
But he plays Malcolm X, and he plays a great Malcolm X, but it's still not Denzel, right? So I don't ever want to see another Malcolm X biopic with, because Denzel is, he embodied that. But, like, rest in peace to Tiny Lister, he will always be Debo. No matter what movie, no matter whatever you seen him in, even though his name is Tiny Zeus Lister, right? He was a wrestler. He was in other things before, but he's always Debo.
Yeah,
always.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad.
I gave you two answers. My bad.
No, it's all good. It's all good. For me personally, Christopher B. Duncan will always and forever be Braxton P. Hartner Breed. I don't care what else. I don't care. He is gonna always be that.
Time out. Right, time out. Right. Have you ever seen the original Gangsters?
No.
I could tell that you haven't. Because Michael, what's his name again? Michael P.
Christopher B. Duncan. Yes.
Christopher B. Duncan, right? He played the leader of a gang in that film.
I heard about that too.
And he talked about how that like him playing Braxton stalled worth his career. Like kind of messed up his career.
That's crazy.
But if you see him play a gangster, hey, no, you're always Braxton. My guy.
My guy.
Like if you, bro, it's on Tubi. I think Original Gangsters is on Tubi.
I might have to check it out. I ain't gonna lie.
Bro, that movie is so bad. But it's like, okay, it's like this. If I can explain the film without giving away everything, right? It's obviously an homage to blaxploitation films, right? All the OGs come back because they started the gang. The gang got out of control. That's it. So you get Black Caesar, you get Fred the Hammer Williamson, you get Jim Brown, you get Pam Grier.
Oh my God!
You get a young Godfrey in there. You get Christopher B. Duncan.
He don't light skin?
Huh?
Was he on light skin? Who else was light skin?
I think that was it.
That's why nobody take him serious.
And he was the villain.
Hey yo, that's funny,
bro. If you watch it, you gonna be like, nah.
That's hilarious.
If that show, like, it's kind of like this. The thing about actors, right? They got a great duality to them. They can play any role.
Yeah.
They're like Swiss Army knives, right? Especially when you talk about the greats. But certain people just kind of are who they are, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? If you get typecast, you get typecast. But Braxton is Christopher. Christopher's Braxton. I'm sorry, you can't separate the two.
I'm sorry.
But he is definitely not Spyro from Original Gangsters.
Spyro?
Bro.
You know what I think about when I hear Spyro?
That's your homework.
The dragon.
That's your homework.
Hey, yo.
I give Johnny homework all the time.
Bro,
like vice versa, but I give Johnny homework all the time.
That shit is so funny to me, man.
If you see it, you be like, nah.
That's crazy.
But
fucking light skinned villain.
right. That was off the dome, people. If you think if Kanye and Ludacris switched cities that they were born in, or however I phrased that question, what do you think? How do you think their careers would have played out?
Right, I'm trying to phrase mine too. What actor will forever be the iconic character that they played? I like that. We're going with that. That's off the dome. Holla at us, man.
But hey, man, we're here to give you some evergreen content. No news topics this week. Just a few questions that we wanted to ask each other.
Word.
First things first. We have to get into this debate because we were saving it for an episode. We just couldn't figure out where to place it. But it seems like the new school of MCs have started to cool off. And when I give those the leaders of that school as being DaBaby, Lil Baby, and Meg Thee Stallion. Johnny, what do you think about that? Even that topic?
I think it's a good topic, and I think it's definitely a conversation to be had for each of these artists, because each of them has their own story, and and each of them has been going through their own issues and situations in the last couple of years, especially in 2022, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely a conversation there.
Well, I'll say this: I'll remove Lil Baby from having any issues, right? Like,
oh, well, no, you're right.
We know it's two.
You're right.
The other two, you know,
Yeah.
right? Lil Baby, all he do is rap and go home. The only controversy
and shop for jewelry.
The only controversy that he was caught up in, jokingly, right? He paid that porn star for some, little play. But, that was about it. That's it. That's all you got to say about that.
Right.
That's if that's all right.
Then that's something good.
But he clearly he raps, he takes care of his family, doesn't get involved in any street, none of that goofy stuff.
This is true.
No, he don't say nothing crazy, barely do interviews.
Right. No, it's true.
He be chilling. And I wanted to watch that documentary he had. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Lil Baby has a documentary?
Mm-hmm. He has one.
I did not know that. All
See?
right, that's
So,
what's up.
He does it the right way, right? You want your rappers to be real and authentic, but yet stay out of trouble. Entertainers.
It got to be a statute of limitations on documentaries too, but we'll talk about that another day.
Hey, no, we talk about it. No, I mean, think about it like this, right? Either you die too early and you Juice WRLD, you get one. I mean, hey, as soon as Juice WRLD died, maybe 6-7 months later, he had a whole documentary on HBO.
Wow. And did you watch it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to ask the content that's in the documentary. Is it like footage of him, touring and collab and stuff?
From the trailer, yes.
Okay.
Like behind the scenes stuff, maybe like his rise. Definitely, concert footage. I'm just
curious what you will put in there.
I wasn't that invested, and then I know I would have been running to watch it merely because he's gone.
Yeah, right.
Like a Lil Baby documentary, I just haven't. I mean, it's been out for a while, but granted, I would watch that.
Got you.
Because I have a general interest.
I got you. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. So, which one of these artists we want to start with first?
Start with DaBaby, man. He's the most problematic. Shit. Like, I mean, if you want, where can you, like, the last time we talked about DaBaby on OS, on this platform, was the whole Rolling Loud situation, or whatever festival that was.
That was Rolling Loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, last year.
Last year.
Last year, or the last ideation of it, because they have multiple Rolling Loud, so I'm not sure where that was.
I want to say it was in New York, but don't quote me on that.
Okay,
don't quote
where
me.
He went crazy saying the things about the LGBT community. Well, not even the LGBT community, just saying things that are inflammatory to that community.
Yes.
Got it.
Oh man.
So that, I mean, I've always given him authenticity points, right? For just being who he is. But sometimes being who you are can be too much for certain people, right?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I've always said that I enjoyed the fact that I feel that he's real. Whatever that means, right? He fight people, he slap a nigga, he shot somebody. I'm like, oh, I like you. But
right.
then again...
Which a lot of other people were on that wave as well.
Exactly. But the thing with DaBaby, his music does not outlast the antics.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. And... It's interesting that he got to the point where he got in that type of trouble, right?
Yeah.
Because I think once that happened, I think that's when people started to realize that the music wasn't really lasting the way that you just mentioned. It's like I think people were fantasizing the idea of what they thought DaBaby was, because like you said, he was going out self-defense and showing himself with his daughter, and even before he started having baby mama issues with Danny Lay, right? And
that's a good point.
A lot of people fantasize the type of person that they wanted DaBaby to be until he actually started showing his true colors that culminated at Rolling Loud. And I think that's when people started to see the antics for what they really were, right? Like he's really probably not the best person to really, want to. I love DaBaby, blah blah blah. But no, all that shit is turned now, because as of today, it's non-existent basically.
And then just like you said, like sometimes the talent will always outweigh the antics, right?
Oh,
even if the act is full of antics, that's all they do, right? He pretty much outed the fact that him and Meg Thee Stallion probably had relations.
Yes.
I don't think you would lie about nothing like that, but hey, it is what it is. None of my business. I'm here for the mess in a way. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm here for the mess, but at the same time, why put that in the song?
Oh, yeah.
But then
I
again,
agree.
and then especially with we fucked the night before Tory Lanez shot her. So all that being in a song is nothing but buzzwords,
oh yeah,
like that's like I'm just getting people riled up, and then I have an album on streaming, so that gets people talking, and then it gets people talking about my music, and then people are going to stream it. That's how I looked at it.
Oh yeah, and to the point where today music like comes and goes like that. Like if it's not like really hot or has really good replay value, it's gonna go. It's gonna fizzle out quickly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's going to happen here. It's wild as hell that he even put that in the song. And you know what's crazy though? Mm-hmm. I really feel like nobody would have known that if the blogs didn't put that out, because I wasn't going to listen to the album, and who would have really known that?
Honestly, and that's me too. And you know me, I searched the new music stuff. I seen Blame It on DaBaby too. I was like, nah, I'm good. Like I didn't even see. You know how good I was on it. I didn't look at the track list. I ain't want to see
features, none of that.
I ain't care to see how long it was. I barely remember the album art. I think it was Black and Gray. Like that's how quickly I was good on it.
Oh, that's so funny. And that even speaks volumes itself, right? Like literally nobody would have known about this unless like whoever the blogger was that listened to the album and put that particular thing out, because clearly they didn't say nothing else about the album. They didn't say if the album was good or bad. Whatever song that was, they didn't even say if the song was good or bad. They just put out that one clip of the song.
And it's clickbaity as hell, because just those names alone, just mentioning Meg and Tory, are always going to get the algorithm going, getting the clicks going, the impressions going, right? So, and then that kind of leans to Meg, right? Meg is America's sweetheart. Mm-hmm. Can't really do any wrong. I think Meg has not put out a solid project at all. Tina Snow, okay, that's it. And I wasn't really a big fan of Tina Snow.
So, everything in between Tina Snow and her most recent project, Traumazine, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Because I enjoy Tina Snow, and I enjoy Traumazine. Everything in between though,
like
she went on
Good News,
all that.
I'm probably missing one,
probably, I don't know what it is.
But Meg has she's built a good career off of brand features and just the TikTok or social media algorithm and social media presence.
Yes,
nothing's wrong with that.
Agreed.
So I had to take my foot off the gas with Meg critiques.
Okay.
It's not for me. I know what she's doing. I know what she is. I know she's a star. The music doesn't necessarily have to resonate with me for a full-length project. Mm-hmm. That's always been my critique for her. It never keeps me for a whole project.
The interesting thing about Megan in her current state of her career, outside of everything that's happening with Tory, I'm just talking strictly her music career right now, right? The last 3-4 years, she's been hot, fish grease. Yeah. I'm talking twerking tours, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's been great, right? I think the people who are invested in Megan's music are starting to get a little tired of the repetitiveness of what her music is and has been. I've seen the rumblings on Twitter, and I really haven't seen anybody talk about her new album, Traumazine. I haven't seen people talk about it. Now, I only listened to it because of the album title. It sounded to me as if it wasn't the twerking Megan.
Yeah.
This is more, and it was kind of more of an introspective album for her. Just the types of things that she's been going through the last few years, legal issues, things with Tory, personal things. She had a song, "Bad Bitches Have Bad Days." Like, that's the type of thing. Those are the type of things I want to hear from Megan, which I did. Now, don't get me wrong; she still got the joints on there, like she has in the past. But this album to me was much, much better. But I think it's too late for people to really catch on to that train for Megan now, because I think they're kind of off of her in that sense.
Yeah. Great point. I think with this, and all three artists, right? They've been on the accelerated track, right? They're on the advanced track,
100%.
Right? So we just keep seeing them, and they never really let them have like rest, or they never really out of the public eye. So when it comes to music and things, and we think about like our GOATs or the people that we just grew up on, not necessarily like the best of all time, but just it was points and times where it just felt like even though they were hot, they still just kind of fell back and just simmered for a second. Then I'm back outside. Yeah, it feels like they're constantly outside. They never take breaks. Remember Meg say, "Oh, I'm taking a break," and she was gone for like a month.
It was 2 months.
If that was it 2?
I think it was 2. It might have been in between the 1 to 2 mark, but no, I remember that because that was a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, and she came back.
She put out the whole little anime thing with her and like the little time thing and
new song, pretty much. I'm like, but by them being in the advanced track, accelerated track, whatever you want to call it, I think that it's just that they're kind of like in that mundane part of their careers where they just kind of have to figure it out now. Because like you alluded to on an episode or two ago, Lil Baby is cold.
Yeah, yeah. And has been, I feel like, all of 2022. And he just put out a single not too long ago. I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
A song? How you have a song? Him and Drake have a song that was the lead single on that DJ Khaled album. God did, right?
I ain't heard nothing.
And of course, it's gonna get radio play because it's Lil Baby and Drake,
right?
But that don't mean the song good.
Which is interesting, right? Because Lil Baby has arguably been like the hottest rapper the last 3 or so years. Like I'm talking about his own projects, features. He did the joint project with Lil Durk last year, the year before, which was actually fire. Yeah. Like he's been on fire, right? And then come into this year where he had the feature on Khaled's album. He's put out at least 3 singles that I've seen, and I haven't heard a peep about them. Not a peep. And then for him to have his album coming out in October. Wow. That's crazy, right?
That's right around the corner.
Now, with that being said, I just recently saw this about Lil Baby. He has been tapped to create the official song for like the FIFA World Cup that's coming up.
Hold on.
Hey, a round of applause for that, right? Okay. Yeah. So in my brain, before I saw that, me and Ralph talked a little bit offline. I was like, yeah, like Lil Baby is cold. I wonder what's going on with him. Maybe he doesn't have the energy or passion for it. But then I see that come out, right? So now I'm getting to thinking like maybe he's just doing things behind the scenes that we don't even know about. Because for that to come out with the FIFA World Cup, that's just
that's what 2024 or is it this year? The FIFA is like the World Cup is like the Olympics, right?
I mean, it's his own contained event. But,
I mean, not
but
like the Olympics.
It's big. It's big like
every
that. Every like 4 years or something
that's
like
what
that.
I'm thinking.
Yeah. And I don't know how the promotion for that goes, but I did see that he was doing like creating that song.
Oh,
so
no, it's this year.
It's this year? The World Cup is this year?
Yeah, it's every 4 years because last year it was in. I mean, not last year, but the last time was in Russia, 2018. So
got you. Okay, so yeah,
so it's right on time. But deals like that are solidified overnight. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
So I imagine that he had this in the tuck when, like we said, when
he was hot,
when Wants and Needs was out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Damn.
You know what solidified it? When that white girl went viral rapping this shit at the wedding.
You know what's funny? Like that's probably accurate. To be honest with you, like that's crazy. I remember that. Like, all right, sidebar, because we as a community of black people, not hip hop, just black people in general, we gotta stop sharing the bullshit because people are getting famous and getting deals off us sharing them being average. What's the period I girl? I haven't actually watched that video, but people have shared it so much because it's terrible that girl has been signed to a label. You don't Ralph don't even know what I'm talking about. No, like some white young lady just put a ratchet video of her out saying period I period ooh or something like that. I didn't actually watch the video, but that's what I'm seeing. And people have shared it so much to the fact that I guess her followers have increased exponentially, and like there's a major label that actually, I don't know what the label is, but somebody actually signed that individual.
Wow.
And I feel like that type of stuff happens all the time, and we are the power behind it because y'all keep sharing it.
Wow. And you know what's so interesting, Johnny? I always give my co-host, my brother, my friend, I always give them credence, right? When it comes to setting me up on these segues. It's so funny. Have we lost the war on hip hop when things like that occur? Right? We lose our power, right? So, Johnny, what do you think about that question, right? Do you think that the culture, like us, and I'm talking about maybe, and I'll say this, black, brown, and Jewish, because all of us have uplifted the culture in some way from its essence, from the beginning. Do you think that we've lost the power?
I feel like this is such a nuanced answer, right?
Yeah, we're not gonna get to the answers. Sway got the answers now.
Sway clearly got
Sway
the
got the answers.
Sway got the answers. We knew it, but Kanye didn't know it. But anyway, man, I mean, a big part of me really wants to say yes because our elder statesmen in hip hop, right? And I mean, I'm not even talking about Diddy them because those are the elder statesmen. I'm talking about the creators, like the people that literally pushed hip hop forward. I'm talking about the LL Cool J's. I'm talking about the DJ Kool Hercs. Those KRS Ones. Yeah. These are the people I'm referring to. Those individuals, because they are the one, Russell Simmons, they are the ones that literally started and pushed hip hop forward late 70s, early 80s, right? These should be the people that actually own the majority stake in everything that goes on because they have the best interests of hip hop at heart, but that's not the case. Yeah,
well, we didn't do a good job at gatekeeping.
I agree.
We didn't.
I 100%.
We didn't do a good job at gatekeeping, and I'm not saying necessarily like the white rappers, right? Like, because I'm not here to bash like the Beastie Boys and the Eminem, even though I respect them, and they're not always my bag. But I respect their place,
right?
But we didn't do a good job, I guess, on the business side of gatekeeping, right? That's why we celebrate the billionaires now, right? Because Jay-Z shouldn't have been the first billionaire.
Agreed.
He shouldn't have been.
Agreed.
Like Kanye shouldn't have been the first, but they're there. You know what I'm saying? Because of the moves and business dealings that they had. But there are a lot of people, a lot of MCs, a lot of forefathers, a lot of DJs that put in the sweat equity to become. They should at least be well off financially.
Oh, 100%.
And it just comes to we had to learn from it. But I think that as time evolves, you know what I'm saying, like. The Jay, the Kanyes, and whoever, the Diddy's, the Swiss, the Tims, those people are well off financially. I think that they will be able to just be blueprints. I'm not saying they're gonna lift us up and put them up there with them. No, right. I'm not going that far. But I think that that's part of the reason.
And it's and I guess it really can't be the fault of the forefathers because
they didn't know.
Exactly.
Because the music business is the music business, regardless of genre. Because, respectfully, Barry Gordy was fucking them Motown niggas out their money too. So it wasn't, that go for the soul and the funk niggas too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So or even the rock and roll cats. Like everybody loses in the music business. It's just the ones that we you know, those A-list, those top tier people, they kind of leverage those things in negotiations because they are who they are. Mike was so feared music business wise because of the things that he was able to do. Prince was feared business wise because of the things that he was able to leverage. So on and so forth.
Yeah, and because of that, it's just been an evolution. So I feel like every decade there's a new way to scam artists, right?
Exactly.
And it's even gotten to the point where we do have people that are within the culture that have unfortunately scammed people coming into the culture, like a Diddy, right?
Yeah, I know,
like
I know.
we've had individuals to do that to our own people, even to the point now where it's lit like the hip hop music business is owned. So like the large percentage of it is not owned by anybody black. So we just gonna say that, right? Because it's owned by the biggest record labels, right? Mm-hmm. And all they look at today, they looking at it like a business, right? So all they're looking at is analytics. Mm-hmm. What person can I get that has, let's just say, 1 million followers, that has X amount of engagement on a daily basis? How can we get that person, pluck them from where they are, put them in the music industry, and make money off of them? That's literally what it is now.
Well, that's why we took so much offense to the FM Mika headline, right? The artificial intelligence, right? Like, you're insulting the culture by saying that we can just make a robot, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and give them quote unquote wordsmith talent. Like, people really put pen to pad and looked up words in the thesaurus to, find another word for this. Right. You know what I'm saying? And think of rhyme patterns and how to inflect your voice. Like, that is rappers are truly poets, and I think that's where we kind of got away from, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's why this is such an art form, and it should be taken as such, right? That's why I celebrate all wins, from the lyrical miracle nigga to the street nigga. Like, they deserve all wins, right? Like, that's why when we talked about on episode 161 with Future, we were just happy that he can get $75 million for his music. Whatever you think about it, cool. But 75 M's from The Machine?
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
Imagine if, like, Rakim could have got 75 M's for his music, right? And that's not to, I'm not doing the apples to oranges thing necessarily. I just wanted a pioneer to get that type of music. That's the reason why I said that.
Word. Yeah.
But it's the war. The war is it may not be completely lost, but it's out of our hands for sure.
Oh, agreed. And I mean, and I feel like it's gotten to the point where there's a lack of hip hop artists that are coming into the game for the art of it. So it's like,
well, we talked about this briefly, and I got you. We talked about this, right? Back then, it was to say that you were the best.
Yes,
or to make compelling art. Mm-hmm. But that's not to say that the kids don't make art now. They just want to tell their story and get money.
Literally,
and that's it. I don't know if anybody under like those new class of people that we talked about literally just say, I'm here to show that I'm the best. Mm-hmm. But they're here to tell their story rather of it being depression, like the things that they deal with family, street life, whatever that may be.
Yep.
And I'm getting money on top of it. Yep. I think that's all it is at this point.
Literally, that's all it
Nobody
is.
aspires to be the new GOAT.
And I thought maybe
that's why it was so much pushback on Lil Baby when they said that he was the one out of the new class, mm-hmm. right? Because for one, he raps with auto-tune. He doesn't sound like your traditional MC in that way, but he raps.
Right.
He goes, right? But I think that's what the pushback was. He doesn't sound like anything that we're used to. Mm-hmm. So,
but also, I think about artists like Corday as well.
Okay.
We have artists in this current generation that, not saying that Lil Baby and his counterparts don't take pride in the music that they put out, but it seems as if Corday puts a little bit extra loving into what, the type of music that he puts out, even him and JID as well, especially with JID's most recent album. Uh-huh. So why is it that those artists aren't held to a higher regard or as powerful?
Well, for one, there's so many of us, right? There's only so much time that I can give to a certain project.
True.
And if you only make music for your core fan base, that's where you're gonna stay.
Okay.
The reason why I'm gonna use my Jay-Z reference, right? The reason why Jay-Z is as popular, I'll say is I'm not gonna get into the best because that's all for subjection.
Right.
The reason why is because he tried to make music for everybody that everybody can enjoy. That's why he's as popular and as rich and as accomplished as he is when it comes to Grammys and awards.
Right.
Those things matter, right? Now, if you just want to stick to your base and make this, that, and the third, that's where you're going to stay. You have to make risks. Like the thing about Jay, he has made songs that have been misses, but he tried though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta.
I guess I can't be mad at it.
You gotta try, but but most of the GOATs have, right?
Yeah.
Think of a Nas song that just was like, I know what you're trying to do, but that ain't it, my boy.
That ain't it.
Case in point, like the song he had with Kerry Hilson, Hero, off the nigga album. Hey yo, wow, right? Eminem, he definitely made some whoop whoops, like some swing and a miss. It happens.
It's true.
It happens.
It's true.
I'm being objective about this. I slander a lot of people, but I'm being objective.
That's funny. That's not the Nas song I thought you was going to. I thought you was going to Genuine Joint.
No. That gets enough slander. Right? And Genuine been in the news. And Genuine been in the news a lot.
He has. I like that song though, but that's neither here nor there. So ultimately, honestly, I do kind of think, well, I wouldn't say we've completely lost it, but are we losing currently? I say yes.
Yeah,
I definitely say
definitely
yes.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Man,
crazy.
Speaking of wars, man, the multiverse war we're losing with the MCU right now. Johnny, we have to talk about... What?
I'm sorry. That was just a fire segue, but it was funny. I don't know.
I'm just saying why we have to have this conversation, me and you, man, because this is my brother. We bond over this content, right?
We do.
Why is the MCU model failing currently?
The only answer I could really come up with is because in phase 4, they're doing something that they didn't do in the previous 3 phases, which is incorporate television shows into the storytelling.
Yeah.
I feel like there are two... this is the first time that we're getting such a large volume of content in the MCU. Now, the first 3 phases, we were used to getting 2, maybe 3 movies a year.
2, for real.
2 MCU movies a year, right? We're at a point now where we're getting 3 MCU movies, at least 2 television shows per year. And I feel like it's the storytelling that has to happen to keep everything connected is too scattered. Now, I think I understand now what they're trying to do, because in comic books, just in comic books in general, the universes are so massive. You can have a 10 issue run of She-Hulk and a 10 issue run of Captain America happening at the same time, and maybe there's a crossover in one of the the booklets, right?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So I can see that maybe that's the route that they're trying to go in the MCU, because you and I even talked at the end of phase 3. What can they do to go? Like, what can they do to go forward? Because we seen the Infinity Saga, we seen how it all culminated, we seen how it started to the end. How can they push the envelope forward? Because if they try to do the same thing, it could just level out and be boring.
Yeah.
But we're at a point now where it seems like they're trying to do way too much, and it's like, it's too much going on, right?
Right. I want to piggyback off your points, but I want to get to why I think. Right?
Okay.
And then we'll, if I remember,
right.
We'll get back to that, right? But I think that why it's failing, right? We don't have a definitive leader of the movies moving forward, or a perceived team moving forward, right?
Ooh, okay.
Because in the Infinity Saga, it was centered around Tony Stark, right?
You right.
And then you get Captain America introduced, right? And then for the first version of Thor, I don't like this Thor now. So that was the nexus of your Avengers team, right?
Right.
You have a godly component. You have Steve Rogers, who's pretty much like the morality of it, and then you have Tony Stark, who's like the brain.
Right.
You got all that, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of like your nexus. That's why you got like 2 or 3 movies from them, and then you can kind of expand the universe from them because they were undoubtedly like the leaders of what the team was. We don't know what the fuck's going on now. Like, do you want funny Thor, joke Thor, dad Thor in any more movies? No, not really, especially after Love and Thunder.
Nah, it's true.
So, and then I don't know if anybody's talking about this, but let me just say it. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman.
Word.
T'Challa was supposed to be such a figurative, like a big point moving forward. They could have did the Illuminati storylines.
True.
They could have brought X-Men through Wakanda with Storm and all that. It's so many storylines they could have explored through the character T'Challa. And now that the MCU is not going to use that character moving forward, it definitely puts a halt in everything. So this perceived character was smart and he had morals.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like Steve Rogers and Tony Stark together.
Right.
You don't have that now. So now it's kind of like, what we gonna do? So now we just gotta we gotta keep this shit. This I don't want to say shit train. You gotta keep this train moving, baby. But it's just, and the thing is, we've had too much time in between Black Panther, Endgame, and now Black Panther 2. You know, nobody can foresee anybody passing away. So that's why I'm being very, gracious. Gracious when it comes to that. But it feels like they didn't have somebody to bounce off T'Challa. Because if you did, it would be kind of easy to pivot just from a storytelling standpoint. Because all this stuff is none of this stuff is new under the sun. So I feel like we could have got remixed version of the Infinity Saga in the multiversal saga or whatever they're calling this new phases of movies.
Multiverse saga.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point. And I'm not necessarily mad at that. And honestly, with you even bringing that up, I feel like it could be a combination of the two. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not particularly sure how they will be able to recover. Not saying that they can't, but like Phase 5 starts next year, right?
Yeah.
Phase 4 ends with Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
So how do you, as a movie studio, how do you get back on track with everything? Like, I think through Phase 1, we didn't even know about Thanos until the end of Avengers, the first Avengers, right?
Probably.
So that's Phase 1, and I guess we did get a version or a variant of Kang in Loki.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how many people actually watch Loki. Like, why couldn't we get a variation of Kang and throughout one of the other movies?
And that's always my biggest gripe, right? Not saying that I don't appreciate the MCU shows. They have been, very mid for the overarching,
right.
WandaVision, okay, she over there. Everything else, we can debate. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
But when it comes to like just overall storytelling, and I'm always stick by this point, I feel that I shouldn't have to watch this show to understand a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it should be payoffs, little payoffs, right? Like little subtle Easter eggs. Like if somebody that's a hardcore MCU Disney Plus comic book, like give me something at every level. But just the casual people that don't give a fuck about Disney Plus, they just want to go watch Wakanda Forever and not think about if Boss was in Moon Knight. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like
no, I got you. It make perfect sense. Because I feel like that's what's gonna happen. But that's crazy.
I know that's a theory.
That's crazy.
That's why I wanted to use it. Like it's like that's dope. But then again, I know it's just
you know a way that I feel like would make the shows better is if you introduce some of the characters in the movies. Everybody's going to see the movies, right? Everybody's going to see the movies. Introduce a character in the movies, then you create their spin-off show in Disney Plus, and we're actually going to see that with Riri Williams.
Okay.
She's going to be introduced in Wakanda Forever, and then she gets her own show next year.
I'll say this: I haven't seen it done correctly for me to agree with that point, because America Chavez, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Well, she's not getting her own show though.
Oh, okay. Damn, never mind.
Yeah.
That steps on that. But no, it's just like you introduce new characters and new elements of what they do into a movie. Is damn, the only person that has been done right for is people that got their own films, Spider-Man and Black Panther, and that was in the same movie.
Right. And they were introduced in Civil War, and then ended up having their own.
But I think
movies.
The origin stuff is getting mundane.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the origin stuff is kind of getting like a little. And the thing is, like, I'm gonna use Marvel's last 3 shows: Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. Right?
Okay.
Progressively gotten worse, in my opinion. But Moon Knight had the potential because it's introducing so many other elements where Miss Marvel and She-Hulk are kind of like, geeky, like trying to figure themselves out, like women things, respectfully. But Moon Knight had the potential to do some other stuff, like the dark stuff. We beating up werewolves, like gods, Egypt, dark stuff. Right. What else? And then you had Ethan Hawke in there. Like, how do you fumble this? It's the writing, bro. And it's like, this could be like, I know what the shows are, but it feels like they should be movies. And that's where it's getting weird, because it's like when you chop these joints up into 30, 40 minutes, episodes, it feels like it's something that's being left out. Now, if it was a movie, I'll feel a little bit cool with it. But then again, you can't sell a Moon Knight movie.
So, well, I don't know, because
they didn't do the show right. But I mean, but the thing is, you can't sit like they sold us, and this is the problem with Marvel, right? They sold us they BC teams first, right? They sold us Iron Man, Cap, Thor, those guys first, and then we got X-Men coming 20 years later. Like, I know it was business stuff, but my point, right? Like,
damn. So you're saying the budgets for these shows are too big because we're comparing them to the movies, because they're shot like they're movies.
They're shot like they're movies. It's the writing and the pacing of every show. That business model doesn't work when it comes to that. Disney model doesn't work, or Disney Plus. If you're doing 6 episodes, that's not enough. Like I said, miniseries. Yeah. I don't count them in series. Yeah. If the only 2 shows that have 9 episodes, which is about standard for most shows, right?
Streaming shows,
right?
Yeah.
It's only the first one, and now the most recent one. Everything else has been 6.
Yeah.
That's why it's like you get payoffs, but it doesn't feel like it's enough. Like, imagine if, I'm going to just say, what was the one that you would probably rank under WandaVision? If you saw your ranking, like, I'm not asking rank all of them, but was it Falcon and Winter Soldier? Was it? I know it went Hawkeye. And I know it went Loki.
I think I'm leaning to a Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That was good, but imagine if you had like maybe 1 or 2 more episodes. Do you feel like you would have been fulfilled watching that, or do you think everything was good?
I think everything was good, because I think the ultimate reason for Falcon and Winter Soldier was to show Sam Wilson's struggle with becoming Captain America.
Okay.
So instead of having to actually have that in a movie, we got a 6-episode show about it, and now we already know he's established as Captain America. So now we go forward. Yeah,
it's just some things it just feels like, and it feels like it could have been more to it to give more substance to it.
I wonder if the first few Disney Plus shows were of characters that were already established, right? Yeah. These last 3, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, these are brand new characters that we haven't seen before. Yeah. So maybe for the newer characters, we should have more episodes so we can flush out their stories more, because we're maybe not She-Hulk, maybe not She-Hulk. But if we get more of a story arc, we would get more background and more information on the main character and everybody around them that we would get in a movie.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think an origin story is necessary for a TV show? For a character that we don't know.
I say yes, but it only has to be in the pilot episode. The origin only has to be in the first episode.
Well,
that's what we did with She-Hulk.
That's what I was gonna say, but some of the most compelling things is kind of, I mean, I guess because we don't know the character, that kind of steps on the point. But I'm thinking about, like, imagine if they came out with another Batman film separate from the Robert Pattinson stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine they came out with another origin story. You'd be like, hey, my boy, like we done this, we done this before, like. But that's for the well-established character, so maybe that definitely kicks that point out the door. But it's just like these origin stories ain't hidden for me right now. Like,
I don't know, man, and it could be that we're used to seeing origin stories in film, and maybe not chopped up and broken down into so many different episodes.
Yeah, because
when you do that, you have to in an origin story film. You get right to this. You get right to it. Mm. You get right to it. All right, this is how he or she became superpowered or whatever. Now let's flush out the story and see who the villain is. When you have a TV show, you have subplots. You got so many different characters that's around them that you have to tell the stories for as well.
And the thing is, that happens over a lengthy episode. I mean, a lengthy season, not 6, not even 9 episodes.
And that's how you get filler episodes.
But I mean, think about Daredevil. How much filler was actually in that? And I gotta use that point because it's a Marvel content. It's Marvel content.
But it was Marvel content. But it wasn't technically canon to the MCU. Yeah, they had little Easter eggs here and there, but it wasn't directly tied.
Yeah, and I don't like this directly tied because it don't be directly tied.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. It's like, because we've had this conversation plenty of times. It's going to be so interesting to see once we get to the end of Phase 5, like, if it's gotten any better.
We got to see if Wakanda Forever is going to be the staple of Phase 4, because Phase 4 has been very
mid.
Yes.
Middle. Lower mid, too, actually.
Because it's the worst phase.
Oh, easy,
and it has,
which is crazy because we got way more content.
I was about to say it's double the content.
That's insane.
like, okay, leaving on this, what would you say is the best film out of Phase 4? Shang-Chi?
Yeah, it's either that or Spider-Man. Which is crazy, right?
Yeah. I'm probably leaning because Thor, Eternals.
I like Thor and I like the Eternals, but I mean, Shang-Chi was better.
And then Doctor Strange? No.
No, we're not even.
No, I mean, the reason Thor, how do you fumble Thor? Like, I mean, not necessarily the character. Like, all you had to do was pretty much remake Ragnarok with a better actor as a villain. And you... Christian.
No, I stick to my point. The only reason they made that movie was to close out his arc with Jane Foster. Literally. Nasty. I feel like that's the only reason.
Nasty.
For sure nasty. But
now your stepdaddy. And we go out to explore.
Shit.
And we go out to explore that.
Oh, shit. Damn, that's funny.
Nasty word. But clearly, we are at the end of our evergreen docket. We appreciate you guys. Johnny, what do you have for them?
We doing Song of the Week?
No, we ain't got to.
Oh, okay.
We can spare the people of our musical taste for this evergreen episode.
That's crazy. All right, well, if you're on YouTube and audio, apparently, we appreciate you for rocking with us this long. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button.
Yep.
Subscribe. Yep. Share this with your people and hit that comment section. And let us know what you thought about any of the topics we talked about today. If you're on audio, again, we appreciate you for rocking with us this long.
Yes, sir.
After this episode, we'll be off a week, but we'll be back with episode 163 after that.
Yes, sir.
And with that,
we out. OSS for the streets.
Episode 162, baby, and we out.
Chill.
Peace.
You are now listening to Oversaturated, the podcast hosted by Johnnie and Ralph. Now let's get it.